as what you don't want to have happen.
We are the Farrells: John, Sarah, Emma, Matthew, Ellie, Alyssa, and Brooke. We sold our stuff and left our home to travel and see the world. And these are our million adventures.
What does the van door sound like?
Squeaky.
Like, make the sound that it makes.
That's the best I can do.
We've been on the road for a little over 5 months now, and the van doors are shot. They are just squeaking, and sometimes they won't shut. If you have automatic doors like this on a van like this Honda Odyssey, this is very common for these things to go out. If you take it into the shop, you're going to be paying a lot of money to get this thing fixed. It's actually really easy though to do yourself. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix this door today. All right, let's do it. So as far as the tools that you'll need, pair of pliers is useful, hammer, Phillips head screwdriver. This can be a Phillips or a flathead. And then I've got a couple socket wrenches here, just with different sized sockets. You'll also need a jack. So this is just the jack from our car. It works fine. You'll just need a jack though to be able to prop up the door. We actually, when we travel, we take all these tools with us. We put these in back next to the spare tire, and so these come with us wherever we go. So whenever we need a small repair, we're able to do it with just these tools. So this is the new part. We just bought this off of Amazon. You gotta make sure you get the right model for your car. But that's what it looks like. So this is the part that you're replacing. This part hooks onto the door, and these are the rollers that go in. Here's what an old one looks like. So we took this one off the other side, and you can see the difference. I mean, look at these rollers compared to these rollers. These ones are nice and tight and they're staying on. These are super loose. This one is just basically like falling apart. I mean, if you look at that, look at how destroyed it is. So that's what makes your door not work, is when these rollers go out. So that's what we're fixing. Okay, so first thing you need to do is you need to remove the tail light. It's a lot scarier, or it's a lot easier than it sounds. Basically there's 2 screws just here. Our van is a 2010. There might be slight differences in other models, but usually you just have to pop off the cap, and then these screws just come out with the Phillips screwdriver. So we're just popping this guy out. There we go. And that's a Phillips head right there. There we go. So once you got those screws out, you just have to pull on this gently, and it should just come right off. Make sure you don't grab this plastic part and yank, because it will just break that plastic part right off. But if you just kind of put some pressure and pull, this tail light assembly will come out. There it goes. All right, be careful not to yank it fully out, because the light bulbs are still attached. To detach those, you just have to twist. Just counterclockwise turn, and the bulb comes right out. Counterclockwise turn, the bulb comes right out. Okay, so now we need to remove this panel right here that spans that length. There's a screw on the inside here, and there's a screw on the back. And so we have to open the door to get to that first screw. It's that screw right there. We just need a Phillips head to undo that. So that's the screw that comes out of there. Not too hard to get out. So the second part of this panel that we need to take off is there's a bolt right here. This particular model is a 10mm socket, and we will just, oops, wrong way. Alright, there we go. Now to remove that panel, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shut this door maybe about halfway. So we'll shut it partway and I'll just stop it by pulling the handle again. And then we're going to take this and very gently you want to kind of pull back on it. This one's actually a little bit more sticky than our last one. Get over here and get some leverage. There we go. It's kind of a forward push, not a back push, sorry. And you want to be careful when taking this off because you don't want to scratch your paint. So if I pull it gingerly out, there we go. You see it's got that place where that front screw was, and that's what you want to make sure doesn't scratch your car. So here you can see this is the piece we're going to replace. The rollers are up kind of under this lip, and then there's these cables. There's one that goes all the way back here and connects back here, and then the one that goes around the front. And it's those cables that pull and push on this piece. So what we need to do is we need to actually prop up our door with the jack, and then we need to unscrew this and take this off because that's the piece we're going to replace. So let's go ahead and jack up our door here. So like I said before, we're just using our car jack. If you have another jack, that will work great too. We just put a little bit of cardboard under it so it doesn't scratch the door. Let me go ahead and lower this. Okay. Put it out there, cardboard under it so it won't damage the door. You could also use a block of wood, that would work too. Okay, so now I'm going to undo the bolts on the inside of the door here. But before I do that, I'm actually going to take a marker and I'm just going to mark where this bracket was, just to make sure I get it in exactly the same spot. You want to make sure it's in the exact same spot or your door might not line up, and that would be bad. I'm going to mark right here along the top, mark along the front, and I'll mark along the bottom. That way I know exactly where that thing is supposed to be. Okay, time to undo these bolts. So now we need to actually remove the piece, and it's attached by these two cables. They kind of pivot and then they come out of a hole. I'll show you in a minute once I get it off there, but this is the part that of anything takes a little bit of, maybe a little bit of muscle to kind of pull this thing out. So I'm gonna pull back the door a little bit, push on this cable. Jack came out. Just get the jack under it. That is what you don't want to have happen. Okay, that was exciting. So the jack slipped from under the door and the door fell over, but it is a good idea to kind of tilt the door out a little bit. I didn't have this problem when I did the other side. The other side went smooth as butter. But now I can work a little bit better because I've pulled the door out just a little bit. There we go. You see that little knock just kind of comes right out of the bottom. But the tricky thing is you got to twist it to be able to get it to go. All right, so we got that one. The other one will come right out now. Nice and loose. Okay, we removed the part. Okay, so here's the part we just took off. You can see the rollers on this thing are pretty loose. They're not as bad as our other door was, but they're super loose. And that looseness is what's causing all the squeaking, causing them not to work very good. we need to take this part off of this piece because the new piece that we bought does not come with that part. So you can see we just need to remove this part right here, and that's really easy to do. All you need to do is remove this little pin here. We'll do that with pliers, and then we knock out this pin and take it off. Okay, so there's the pin that came off right there. I had to turn off the camera and just do it because I couldn't get it by myself. But that just slips right on there. I just got it off with the pliers. So now we need to knock this pin out. Alright, so here's the piece that came off there. It was quite rusted on the pin here, so we're gonna get some WD-40 on that. Hopefully get it a little bit better. So here's the old part we don't need anymore. Here's our new part that we're gonna reassemble. So here's how the part comes back together. Just make sure the spring arm is on the inside there, and the pin just slides back in, just like that. Okay, I've inserted the pin back in, just gave it some taps with the hammer. Now it's back in. We just need to slip that little piece right here back on there. Push it on with the pliers. Oops. Pieces all back together, so now we just need to put it back on the car. So the wheels just slide up underneath like that, and then we need to attach these cables inside of here. Just slide it in, and then it's attached just like this. Okay. Just turn this. It slips in, it goes like that. There we go. Now we gotta attach the door back onto here. So I'm gonna have to move this jack with the door back into place. So I'm just putting the bolts back in. You might have to kind of turn and twist the door a little bit on your jack and make sure it's in the right spot. And I'm just gonna do these loosely and then get it lined up perfectly with our lines, and then I'll tighten it. Okay, so once you got your door back on, you want to test it and make sure it actually works before putting all the panels back on. That seems good. I'm going to take this panel and slide it back on with the front screw on. Be very careful not to scratch the car. There's the front screw. There's the back. It's on. Now let's test the door one more time. Let's make sure it works. Lines up beautifully. Now we just gotta put our tail light back on. Tail light's really easy to put back on. You just put the bulbs back in. They should fit right in, and just give them a turn. They snap right in place. Bulb in, turn, snaps right in place. And then this needs to go in this hole right here. And we're just gonna set it back on and give it a little push, and it should snap in. And lastly, we'll replace Tail light screws. There's two. So now we just need the caps. There we go. And it's done. So we spent $100 on this repair. That was for the parts, right? Just so
Roller parts.
the
bought on Amazon.
two roller parts bought on Amazon.
Genuine Honda parts.
Genuine Honda parts. So they're not, you know, black market parts or anything. They're the real deal. $100 spent. We were quoted $800 to do this repair. So it took me probably 20 minutes to do the first one, and probably took an hour to do the second one because I was trying to film it. Well, maybe like 40 minutes, but really it was very easy, not hard at all. Definitely worth saving the money. And yeah, now our doors work. Beautiful door motion. Smooth as butter. So now we can go see the rest of the states, right, Sarah? Okay, go ahead and give that door an open. See what you think.
It doesn't squeak anymore. Yay! So it won't shut on us anymore.
Look at that. Magical. Yay! How do you feel, Alyssa?
Are we there yet?